Okay, so you're looking for a mountain home realtor. So here's some questions to ask, and you're going to find about 1% of mountain home real estate agents are going to know the answers to these questions. And you probably don't think they're important questions because nobody would ever think to ask them because most agents just don't know the answers. So when you're looking at a home, number one question to ask, is this home 2x6 framed or 2x4 framed? Most agents aren't going to know. They're going to say, well, how would I know? Well, you know by walking through the front door. It's pretty much that simple. Number two, how deep is the well? And really probably 50% of agents know how deep the well is on their listing. You can go to an open house and ask agent, probably 50% of them will actually know how deep the well is. That's number two. Number three, what is the recovery rate of the water in the well? Now, I've known a lot of mountain homes, and if there's a mountain home with a cistern in the basement or anywhere in the house, in other words, a big water tank, actually just walked by one. That's what made me think to make this video, but there was one, that had about a 500-gallon tank in the basement, and I know for a fact that their recovery rate is less than 1 gallon per minute. Recovery rate is if you drain the well dry or if you run the pump and drink the well down, how quick does the well recover? And little mountain streams supply our wells. We don't dig into aquifers up in the mountains. Down in the plains, you dig into aquifers. Aquifers are these underground lakes, and you go to east of Denver and south of Denver, you're going to find wells that are in an aquifer that produce 30 gallons a minute. They have a 30-gallon a minute recovery rate. Now, up in the mountains, we dig our wells, and our wells are supplied not by aquifers, by little mountain streams that trickle into the well. And they trickle into it and fill it back up as you draw water out. When you're using water inside the house, the well pump kicks on. And that's called a recovery rate, how quick the well will recover its water once you drain part of the water out or all of the water out. Now, 99% of real estate agents aren't going to know the answer to that question, but it's on the well permit. The original well permit from whatever year, the 1970s or 80s, 90s, 2000s, current, it's going to be on the well report what the well recovers. Also, when you buy a mountain home, there's no need to do a 4-hour well test. A lot of companies will say that. What you need to do is you need to know the recovery rate. So run the water and then see how quick it recovers. There's different ways to do this, but you're basically getting down in the well to see how fast the water comes back up in the well. And of course, I've got hundreds of questions that you can ask a real estate agent that they're not going to know. Very important stuff that you need to know when you're buying a mountain home. But probably my final question that in this video that I would ask your agent, what is a cap home? Now, cap homes were these kit homes. Basically from the 60s, 70s, 80s, people could buy a kit, and they could buy all the materials through this company and have all the work done, none of the work done, or part of the work done by this company. And a lot of cap homes were pretty poorly built. Basically, building codes back in the 60s and 70s were really just safety issues, smoke alarms, egress, fire escapes, things like that. But a lot of cap homes, and it's spelled CAPP, and there are thousands of cap homes in the mountains. And your agent's not going to know what a cap home is. But if you buy a home and it's a cap home, it needs to be looked at really well. And you got to have somebody that knows what they're looking at. Most home inspectors aren't going to know what they're looking at either. So these are just a few questions to ask if you're looking for a mountain real estate agent. And you might not think they're important questions, and you probably won't unless you come across somebody that can actually answer those questions. And you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of information that I need to know when I'm buying a mountain home or selling a mountain home. And market value, market trends, all those types of things, just such generic information, and that's something you can figure out on Zillow. But knowing what you're buying, knowing what you're selling, with all the mountain homes basically being custom homes, there's very few track mountain homes, but they're pretty much all custom. You've got to look at foundations, you got to look at soils, I don't care if it was built in the 50s or if it was built in the early, today. It needs to be looked at very well. You need to pay special attention to the structure and the foundation. A lot of mountain homes are built on decomposed granite. Obviously, there's some low-lying areas with high water table. Pretty easy to figure all this stuff out if you really know what you're looking for. And every real estate agent should know all of these things. They should know all the answers to the questions I just told you to ask a real estate agent. If you have any other questions, you want to know anything else about mountain real estate, give me a call. Paul Timont, 303-638-9402. Thank you.